In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 tips to help your descriptive writing sparkle, whether you're a student, a budding writer, or just looking for ways to improve your writing. Over the next few weeks, I'll be uploading videos about each of these 10 steps, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon now so you don't miss out. Number 1. Have a plan. Before you start to write, think about your end product and what you want to achieve. How do you want your reader to feel? What mood do you want to create? For example, if you want to construct a gloomy, gothic atmosphere, what techniques should you reach for? Thinking about these questions in advance will help you choose the best tools for the job and ultimately make your description more effective. Number 2. Use adventurous vocabulary. Sometimes simple is best, but all too often we fall back on the same old words over and over again. Adjectives like big, small, nice, bad are frequently overused. Take a moment to really think about what you're describing and try to niche down. For example, if you say you had a good meal, was it because the food was delicious, plentiful, value for money? Alternatively, flick through a thesaurus or the pages of a book you admire for inspiration, but don't just pick a word at random. If you're unsure, ask your teacher, friend, or someone whose opinion you trust for feedback. Number 3. Paint a picture using figurative language. Figurative language refers to language that's used in interesting and original ways to create a vivid image or impression. Examples include techniques such as similes, metaphors, and personification, also referred to as imagery. Remember that descriptive writing does not just convey information, but also aims to entertain, and by creating unusual and memorable images, you'll keep your readers engaged and wanting more. Number 4. Appeal to the 5 senses. Understandably, much descriptive writing relies on what can be seen, but don't neglect the other senses. If you're describing a busy market, for example, or a dark street at night, you'll want to bring the scene to life by appealing to all your reader's senses, including hearing, taste, touch, smell, as well as sight. Number 5. Sound imagery. Appealing to all the 5 senses is advisable in descriptive writing, but sound imagery plays a particularly important role in helping readers hear certain sounds and/or creating particular moods. For example, sibilance is often used to construct an ominous or sinister mood, whereas alliteration can create a sound pattern that is pleasing for the reader. Onomatopoeia can help us imagine sausages sizzle on a barbecue or waves crashing on a beach. Number 6. Be original. This is a lot easier said than done. However, there are some simple things you can do to improve the originality of your writing. Number 1. Avoid clichés and overused phrases. For example, saying that a building is as tall as the Eiffel Tower or that someone runs as fast as a Lamborghini. Number 2. Don't copy others' work, whether it's a passage from a book or plagiarized from the internet. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by others, but copying work is morally and artistically questionable. Trust your instincts and don't be afraid to experiment. You'll soon find out what works and what doesn't. Number 7. Vary your sentence lengths and structures. Depending on the effect you want to create, you'll want to change up your sentence types and lengths. For example, if you're trying to create a tense, uneasy atmosphere, you might use short sentences. Whereas if your aim is to construct a relaxed, comfortable mood, you might prefer longer, more meandering sentences. Additionally, don't forget to vary the way you start your sentences. Why not start with an adjective, verb, or adverb instead of the? Number 8. Range of punctuation. There's nothing wrong with full stops, commas, and question marks, but for more subtle effects and to manage longer, more complex sentences, you'll need to use more advanced punctuation such as semicolons, colons, and hyphens. The best way to understand when and how to use these is to read, but why not just experiment? Ask a teacher or friend politely for their feedback, and don't be afraid to try something new. Number 9. Show, don't tell. When it comes to descriptive writing, merely conveying information detracts from the imaginative experience you're aiming for. Let's take this sentence as an example. The little boy was crying because he was sad. This sentence does a good job of communicating the facts, but it leaves little to the imagination. Instead of telling the reader that the boy was sad, how can you suggest or show it instead? Perhaps his eyes are downcast and his chin is quivering. Are there tears trembling on his lashes? It's tempting to tell the reader what's going on, but showing him or her instead makes for a far more memorable and engaging experience. Number 10. Proofread. We'd all like to think we can dash off a masterpiece without checking it over, but the reality is that every writer benefits from reviewing his or her own work, preferably with a fresh pair of eyes. If you can, sleep on it and read your piece through in the morning, ideally aloud. You're not just checking for grammatical errors, but to identify any words or phrases that interfere with the flow of your writing. You may need to go through several rounds of proofreading before you're satisfied with the results, but a little extra effort at the end is worth it in the long run. If you found this video useful, please share, like and subscribe to LitCrit now for more expert analysis, tips and advice.